Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Throw, where we talk about the game-losing moments in professional League of Legends games. Today, we're talking about Cloud9 versus TSM, and oh boy, this game is a great example of a linear team composition pairing off against a much more versatile but situationally weaker team composition. Starting over on TSM's lineup, you have two incredibly powerful Siege and Poke carries, backed up by three very strong disengage champions. Nico Ultimate, Gragas Ultimate, and the Tahm Kench Devour are all very, very strong at shutting down enemy engages, which really helps the Zoe and the Varus poke down and shove Cloud9 aggressively off of objectives and really allows TSM to control the map. And they did a phenomenal job of that throughout this game so far. Yes, they did fail to push a lot of their advantages earlier and failed to get much of a lead until the game went much later and Cloud9 had a bit of a chance to scale. But as you can see right now, TSM has a Baron, TSM has an Elder Drake, they have a decent but not terribly significant gold lead, and they have an incredible amount of pressure. They're sieging down Cloud9, but, and I say but, it is 40 minutes into the game. Cloud9 does have superior scaling to some degree, so TSM does, I believe, feel that they want to pressure things now, especially while they have this Baron buff on 3 and this Elder buff on 3. Cloud9's team composition, on the other hand, is a bit more versatile. It has solid 1-3-1, it has really good team fighting, it has solid objective take, it has some wave clear, but not a huge amount of wave clear. So the Cloud9 team composition is a bit more versatile. It can do a bunch of different things. However, it is particularly weak in engage, which is traditionally considered the counter to these poke compositions. So Cloud9 has very limited tools in how they can approach a fight and how they can interact with TSM outside of just getting poked down and forced away. The only real way that Cloud9 can get into a fight and can come out victorious in any real manner is for Licorice and Svenskeren to be able to flank, the Galio ult to come in following them, and allow that to force TSM into a fight that they don't actually want. So, looking in at the game state right now, TSM is pushing in. There are no flashes on 3 of TSM's members. 4 if you count Smoothie, but he has the Spellbook and he has the Ghosts. That's not entirely relevant. And all of Cloud9's flashes are up. Most importantly, we have the Aatrox and the Kindred and the Galio. So Cloud9 is unable to get any sort of flank off because they're pinned into their base right now. So the only way for C9 to get any sort of fight or any sort of engage, which they are entirely dependent on, because if they are not unable to get a fight, TSM will just poke them out and will destroy their base. The only way for Cloud9 to do that is you take use of this flash advantage. You have flash, they don't. We flash on top of them, they don't have a way to get out, unless there is the Gragas ultimate or the Tahm Kench Devour or the Nico ultimate to kind of force Cloud9 back. So to some extent, TSM is on a clock because they have this Baron buff ticking down and they want to make use of. But TSM is not necessarily dependent on the Baron buff. They can always just back off, let the Baron buff wind down, let their flashes come back up, and then force. Or they can just kind of force with the Baron buff, but play a little bit more defensively and be ready for Cloud9 to flash in and be ready to counter that with one of your disengage tools. Cloud9, on the other hand, really, really does want to press this advantage. They have the flash advantage. Now is really the only time they're going to get a chance to use it. Otherwise, TSM is going to just break the base or just back off. The flashes will come back up, and Cloud9 will once again be out of options and out of ways to really start a fight. TSM should be aware of this. They should be ready to counter Cloud9 aggression. A quick look at the lane assignments. Both of the most powerful disengage tools are sitting in lane with Zen, and Nico and Zoe are kind of up off in the mid lane. I'm not so sure about this. Acadian, I think, really ought to be in the mid lane. It's very difficult to engage. As Cloud9, it's very difficult to engage through Varus ult and Tahm Kench Devour, especially when the TK has Ghost and the Varus has Flash. So Acadian isn't really needed to keep Sven and Smoothie safe. However, Broken Blade and Bjergsen don't have Flash. They don't have the Var Assault. Yes, they have the Nico ult, which is also a very powerful disengage tool, but still, Broken Blade and Bjergsen need the disengage that the Gragas would be able to provide. So Acadian really ought to be mid lane here. He's not really providing much bot lane, and his disengage would be well used in the mid lane. Okay, so flashes down. We're going to see Bjergsen steps up, gets a bubble onto Zazel. But again, he has no flash. If you look at where he's going to be coming back to, he has basically two ways to back off from Cloud9 after this bubble. He can walk this way, which is going to be very difficult once Svenskeren dashes over the wall and is right here, because then he's letting Svenskeren get a bunch of pot shots off on him as he walks away. Or he can walk up towards Broken Blade. And this is also non-ideal because, again, he's not walking directly away from C9. He's walking to some extent towards Licorice, who also wants to be diving onto him. So you can already see there isn't really a good way for Bjergsen to get out of this situation. He used the ultimate in not knowing that Svenskeren was here, and he's going to see Svenskeren from the vision provided by him physically moving forward. And it's a bit of a big oops. He really shouldn't have been up that far, and he was not really respecting that the Cloud9 members could be where they were. He shouldn't have been playing this far up with no vision of the inside of the Cloud9 base. So the play continues. We do see Svenskeren dash over the wall. Bjergsen instantly heals because he knows he's in trouble. And immediately we see the TSM clump in the bot lane start to move up. Now, if you're TSM, and you know that you need to be poking, you cannot really team fight. This is already not looking great for you, and TSM to some extent is trying to salvage this play. Bjergsen is probably screaming over comm, save me, save me, save me, I fucked up, or whatever. So TSM is coming in and collapsing, and look at the map right here. TSM knows that Sneaky is here. Yes, they know that Cloud9 doesn't have vision of this area, but imagine a world in which Sneaky walks to here, throws down a miasma right here. There's nothing TSM can do. They just get dicked on by this huge Cassiopeia damage, and they don't really have a way out other than, I guess, Sven flashing the wall, but then Smoothie and Acadian both just take a huge chunk. Obviously, this doesn't happen. Sneaky plays a bit further back, but it's already looking scary for TSM. The play continues. TSM continues moving up, and right around here is really when Broken Blade should have hit the R button. Because, as I mentioned, the Nico ult is one of their disengage tools, and we are in a situation where Bjergsen is clearly in trouble. TSM is already rotating up to try and save him. There isn't really a good reason for Broken Blade to save the ult here. He should just pop it, force Cloud9 to back off a little bit, and give Bjergsen the room to get away. Maybe he is saving it for a possible fight, but TSM is already losing any fight that's going to occur. They cannot fight with this team comp. So this is another very significant mistake that is going to contribute to TSM losing this fight, because they had the opportunity to disengage. They had the ability to disengage, and they just don't. Broken Blade takes this one-for-one trade of Bjergsen's life for Svenskeren's. TSM is being delayed on the rotation by Sneaky, throwing abilities over this wall. And TSM basically traps themselves into this fight. They could just have easily not have sent their bottom lane up into this fight. They could just have easily have just had Broken Blade and Acadian and Zen and Smoothie just walk away. Take the 1-for-1 or take the 1-for-0. Let Baron buff expire. Return to the mid lane, and now Cloud9 doesn't have the flashes that were so important for them to engage on you. Now your flashes are coming back up. Now you can actually reset and get the vision that you need to really push this. TSM has all of the cards right now. Cloud9 has a very limited set of ways that they can play around what TSM is trying to do, and They just use one of them, the flashes on Svenskeren, and soon you'll see the flash on Aatrox as well. TSM should be happy with that and back off, because the 1-for-1 kill, the 1-for-0 kill, not super relevant. There's no objectives on the map. Cloud9 isn't going to get anything from the 50-second death timer on Bjergsen. Cloud9 is going to get things from a team fight. TSM is going to get more from the flashes being expended on the side of Cloud9 than they're going to get, than Cloud9 is going to get from Bjergsen dying here. This is a worthwhile trade for TSM, even if it's just Bjergsen's life for the flashes on Cloud9. But TSM keeps going in, says, okay, maybe this Aatrox is out of position. We'll burst him down through the World Ender somehow. Sven and Smoothie walk right into this nice little corridor, and they're going to pin themselves against this wall perfectly for the Cassiopeia. Broken Blade uses the ult now onto just one person, who happens to be an Aatrox with the World Ender up and a stopwatch. And we'll see Sneaky gets the flash in. Sven had ample opportunity to flash over this wall. And this is really TSM's last chance to salvage this fight, is if Sven pretty much, before Sneaky had the chance to walk up and flash, because Sven was walking back and forth around here for a few seconds. Sven really needed to flash this wall and be ready to throw an R and a Q onto Sneaky to burst him or force him out of the fight, which would have then allowed TSM to disengage. Acadian can throw the ultimate either onto Sneaky or onto Niski to knock him away. They can burn down the Aatrox, eventually through all of his immunities, and walk away with a 2-for-1 trade, maybe come back after there's a short reset from the fight, and then push down the turrets. That is, to some extent, an ideal world for TSM if they manage to get that Sven flash off and shove away Sneaky and ult away Niski. But there is a world where Sven flashes that wall and successfully disengages from Cloud9. He doesn't. Sneaky gets in, gets the ult, gets the miasma, so Sven can no longer flash out. And even if Smoothie is there to devour Sven, that's not going to be enough. You do see the devour come in late, but even if Smoothie had been there to devour Sven before he had been chunked, before he had been stunned, that's still Sven spending the fight in Smoothie's belly, and Sven spending the fight running away, as opposed to Sven flashing to the wall and being able to spend the fight DPSing and using his ultimate defensively and helping TSM shut down this Cloud9 engage that they so desperately need to shut down. So TSM gets caught out, Cloud9 cleans up the fight and wins the game. And ultimately, this is a team fight that Cloud9 very desperately needed, and if it had not happened the way it did, it would have been a pretty easy game for TSM to close out. But ultimately it came down to Bjergsen poorly tracking where the Cloud9 members were within the Cloud9 base inside of the Fog of War, TSM having some questionable lane assignments, leading to the Gragas not being present and able to disengage from the Cloud9 engage when they knew that with Cloud9's flashes, that was the only way for Cloud9 to come back into this game. It comes down to Broken Blade not using his ultimate to disengage, leading to Cloud9 actually being able to get a fight. TSM choosing to send their bot lane up and take the fight rather than just walking away and take the one player loss or the 1-for-1 trade. And then Sven not using his flash to get over the wall and zoning Cloud9 out of the fight. A number of mistakes that turned what would have been a fairly easy end of the game in TSM's favor into the throw. Thanks for watching.
These Death Rays have plenty of punch themselves. You can see Sven losing about 40% of his HP there. Svenskeren going in onto Bjergsen here in the mid lane, who wants to get himself away, but that could be a big kill. Svenskeren instead going to be taken down by Broken Blade. Licorice will slam Bjergsen into the ground in retaliation. Pop Blossom comes down. Licorice goes into the stasis. Broken Blade